Good evening and salutations, my B&B fans. It's been a hot minute. I couldn't stay away for too long. Um, there's times where I feel like I have to probably take a break from the show if it gets a little too insane with my work schedule. But I'm gonna sit there and try to hash it out. When I'm able to at least do these a couple of times. Well, I mean by a couple of times, like daily, until it gets a little more insane. But I'm just gonna sit there and take it day by day. Now, here's the thing. I've been gone for a while, but I feel like I really didn't miss that much of a beat. To be honest, it's like Taylor and Brooke are still going at it with Ridge, and Ridge is held up in Eric's house because he needs his time and his space. And watching these two go at it, watching Brooke sit there and say, "Well, if it wasn't for Sheila getting me drunk, then I would have never sat there and kissed, Deacon in the first place." And I'm like, you're in a lot of ways, you're still missing the point. You invited Deacon into your life. Okay, it was one thing when it was you just riding for your daughter and having them have a relationship, but having him come in the house, having him feel so comfortable to the point where he just opened the door. Okay, this dude didn't even knock, he just walked right on in. That was a problem. Okay, that was a problem. He felt way too comfortable. And I felt like that was already a strain on their relationship. And it was sort of the same things when Taylor was meant to say like, yeah, well that was a problem, but it wasn't part of the symptom though. Like the symptom is the root of it, of their issues. And of course, Brooke is playing out this whole, oh, he's my husband, I'm his wife. I'm like, Brooke, I've been gone for like nearly a month and a half, and you are still singing the same damn tune. The same damn tune. This woman sounds like a broken record, and I get it. It's 18 minutes. I gotta find a way to stretch out this story, but oof. And this is after, well, this is before Thomas, kind of apologized for his role as far as keeping his mouth shut. When it came towards Sheila's secret, but he still he still was just like, oh, I still think you're a better choice. Um, Still think you're a better choice for dad than Brooke. You know, Guess they're all fired up, and she goes her way down. And now Brooke was there, at Eric's place to sit there and get help to try to, get Ridge to sit there and, get him back to coming home back to his wife, because she keeps saying his wife over and over again. Of course, when Taylor gets there, Taylor's like, oh, you didn't miss his beat, did you? Same old Brookie, just trying to get Eric's help and, getting Eric to, pressure Ridge into coming back home. And I'm just kind of like, well, what are you doing? I mean, you kept saying, well, Ridge needs his time and his space, and what are you doing over here then? What are you doing over here? I mean, she did sit there and say like, well, I'm always sanctimonious Taylor or whatever. So I guess you were just like, oh, let's just put the hair down, and was just like, no, I'm gonna sit there and somewhat stoop down to her level because, come on, boy, you here too. So they go back and forth, and at the end, you have the title card of them just kind of looking at each other, doing this whole death stare. This is after Eric is like, well, I'm not riding for anyone. I'm not pushing him either way. He sits there and tells both of them, play nice. Now, before then, Quinn was there. Quinn wants to spend some time with him, but, you know, Eric is like, well, I got to go to the gym. I got to get my gym on, my sweat on, and I'm like, you can kind of get your sweat on another way. Why do you? And the thing is, before I took my little hiatus of watching the show, it seemed like for a hot minute he kept trying to find everything else under the sun to do. He was always busy. Oh, well, I got to do this, I got to do that. And Quinn was not there. I'm like, yeah, Eric is always busy doing stuff. It's just, I don't know. And now Eric is well, anyway, he left to go to the gym. Apparently, Quinn put some sort of chip in his ring to track his health, to make sure you know, he's going to be around for a very long time. Now, let's talk about this whole office stuff. This is another reason why I feel like I did not miss a beat. I did not miss a beat. Um, my goodness. Grace is another person where she just recites the same garbage over and over again. Now, Paris is sitting there daydreaming about Carter, and Grace walks in there, and Grace is like, "Oh, you sitting there thinking about Zendy, aren't you?" And I'm like, I haven't been going that long, and I feel like I'm watching. Well, I don't want to say I feel like I'm watching the same show, but I feel like I'm watching the exact same storyline. Like, I get it. They had to push this whole Steffi and Ben and Steph, and they did that for a while. Okay, they pushed that for a while, and everything else was at the back burners. And now I'm coming back and was like, man, what did I miss? Oh, well, we doing the exact same thing that I've seen like about nearly 2 months ago. So, all right, cool. That's great. It should be very fun to sit down and watch Y&R. I'm thinking about watching it tonight. I'm not too sure. I feel like I got a little extra time, and you know, only going to sit there and watch one episode of Attack on Titans. Uh, Anyway, she's just going on and on about the same thing, and Paris is like, "Stop." I want to sit there and be with Carter, and she's like, "Well, can't you just stop for like 5 minutes?" And Grace's like, "No, I can't stop because I gotta sit there and do what's best for you," and blah 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 blah. That's going on, and now Zende confronts Carter, and he's like, "Okay." When he said, like, "Yeah, Paris told me about your feelings. I mean, about her feelings for you." Okay, all right. Maybe, should I get something to snack on or something like that? This sounds like this is gonna be really good. I mean, he's really gonna sit there and give him some problems. He's like, I could give you some problems. I can really sit there and make things awkward and uncomfortable for everyone. But I'm not gonna do that. I'm sorry, what? What did he just say? He just said no? He just said he's not gonna have no problems? Now I get the idea that he wants to I'm not a dick. I really not. He wants to put Paris's feelings first. And he tells him, hey, listen, if you want to go for Paris, go for her. Because at the end of the day, I want to make her happy. Yeah, I want to be with her, but at the end of the day, I want to put her happiness first. I think that is a remarkable and extraordinary thing to do. I also feel like it's somewhat unrealistic. Somewhat unrealistic. The way he's taking that, he's just like, I want to put her feelings first. What a guy. What a guy. Don't get me wrong. There are real people out there like that. And I'm not just saying I'm not one of those people, but I mean, let's be honest. I can be very petty. It can take a while before I get to that point of, I want to put her happiness first. But to be fair, hmm, I was going to sit there and say, when you have a bunch of models just sitting there throwing themselves at him all day long, how much of a loss is that really? But each person is unique. Each person is special. Paris is special in her own unique way. And so it brings me back to the whole, where you're not even going to be a little bit petty about that? I mean, no one really judge you. I mean, it's all cool and everything like that, what you're doing, but no one's really going to judge you. No? No, you're just going to be just all peace and love and happiness and all that other stuff. We're going to do that? Okay. Well, that's okay. Quinn walks in there, and Quinn walks in there. He leaves, and Quinn is like, "Well, why aren't you going out with him?" And this, that, and the third. They get to talking. Paris walks in there. Paris is like, yo, what's going on? What are you two talking about? There is this tension that's going on where this stuff I wasn't watching, but Quinn was like, "Yeah, I want to thank you for blabbing out my dirty little secrets to, you know, everyone while I was there trying to renew our vows or something like that." That she said, and they go back and forth, and Quinn has to sit there and give Paris a reality check. Reality check of, yeah, some people may sit there and find you important, but not everyone does. And at the end of the day, I'm the boss's wife, and you're, well, to be honest, you're a lot more replaceable than I am. Let's just be real. That's literally what it came down to. Um, so made that very clear. I'm sensing this whole I'm sensing this whole thing between Carter and now Quinn, and when Paris left, they're asking. Well, Carter's not asking, "How's your relationship? How's your relationship? Your marriage with Eric?" And Quinn was like, "No, it's fine, it's great." It's like, really, because he seemed like he would rather work out a sweat at the gym than work out a sweat with Jim. If you're gonna sit there and say it's great, because you don't seem like the type of person that's just like, I could just sit on my hands. And to be fair, I don't condone cheating. I would have rather it been like, yo, listen, you're not doing it for me. I need to find somebody else. But I feel like this is going to be all over again. They're going to slip up. They're going to wind up having sex, and then Erica's going to find out. He's going to be all upset. Some of that is going to be on him. Because let's be honest, nothing's wrong down there. It's Quinn, because it worked for Donna. It worked for Donna. It should work for Quinn. If it's not working for Quinn, there's an issue. Just want to throw that out there. I mean, come on now. We all remember that. I want to sit there and try to find that clip where let me think about doing a reaction video. That clip. If anyone knows what that clip is, what I'm talking about, this is a clip where Eric realizes that he's holding Donna, or they're doing something with honey, and the music comes in, and he realized that he can have an erection, and I swear that might have been the funniest thing I think I've ever seen in a soap opera, ever. And I'm so glad that I tuned into that moment, because that was priceless. That was priceless. This may not even be my favorite soap opera, but that moment, oh my, you couldn't have planned it more perfect. Because I know that was supposed to be something that was meaningful, and he's back in the game. He never really lost his mojo, but it came across as the most funniest and cringeworthy scene I think I've ever seen in a soap opera since I've been watching soap operas since 2000. So yeah, um, idle hands and idle limbs and body parts. Need I say more? I feel like that's about it. I do. I was sitting there thinking, I was like, maybe I should sit there and do Y&R. But I'm like, I don't know, because this soap opera is manageable because it's 18 minutes long. And I feel like as long as I don't have a day where it's like 10:45 and I'm sitting there trying to watch this show and do a review, I feel like this is more manageable. Y&R feels like a lifetime, and it could be like maybe 15 minutes, and it feels like it's 3 hours, where like very little to nothing actually happens. Um, so I'm really debating. I don't know. I want to watch it, but at the same time, it's like by the time this video goes out and I start to eat, and I gotta wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning, I don't know. I partly feel like I should probably do baby steps, because I feel like I can do this. But I feel like trying to add Y&R Monday through Friday is going to land me right back in the same spot where I was just like, yeah, I don't really know what I'm trying to do all 4 days. So I feel like for now, I'm probably just going to sit there and stick to the 3 of them. And when my schedule opens up a lot more, I can really tackle all 4 of them. Because, again, my one joy, one of many joys, is that even if the episode's not that good, I sit there and talk about just how bad the episode is and how much each character has failed us lovely. I was going to sit there and say spectacularly, but I feel like I messed up on a word, so I was not going to go there, even though I probably messed up on a word anyway. I feel like that's about it. I really feel like that's about it. So I look forward to doing these reviews as much as I possibly can, as far as doing the B&B reviews, because I feel like I kind of came back at a good time. I feel like I came back at a time where it's like, well, I feel like I didn't really miss much of anything, so that's cool. Like I said, as long as it doesn't get to like 10 o'clock and I'm doing these reviews, or particularly this one, then I feel like I could sit there and pop these out a little bit more. These are fun. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go. I want to thank you for watching. Be safe. Have a great, amazing, and safe weekend. And I will see you in the next video.